So, this whole mess starts with Jamie and his wife getting a seriously creepy, unmarked package. Inside, a freaking ventriloquist dummy whose eyes look like they're staring right into your soul. Jamie's wife immediately flashes back to this old ghost story from her childhood about a spooky woman named Mary Shaw who collected a ton of dolls. She remembers one crucial warning: watch out for Mary Shaw's gaze. Jamie hated the dummy right away and wanted to toss it, but his wife seemed weirdly into it, so he backed off. That night, Jamie heads out to grab some takeout, leaving his wife alone. She decides to play a prank on Jamie, so she sets the doll on the bed and covers it with a sheet to make it extra scary. But things go south fast. The house gets dead quiet, even the clock stops ticking. Then, she hears this piercing kid's laughter coming from the room. When she goes to check, the sheet covering the doll suddenly attacks, throwing her across the room. She feels like she's being dragged, and then, silence. Jamie gets home and freaks out. His wife is gone. He spots blood on the floor. In the bedroom, under that sheet, he finds his wife's lifeless body. The police immediately hauled Jamie in for questioning. He's the prime suspect since he was the only other person in the house. He tells them about the mysterious doll package and begs them to trace the sender, convinced it's connected to his wife's murder. With zero solid evidence, they reluctantly let him go, but they are definitely still watching him. Back home, Jamie checks the doll's box again and sees the names Mary Shaw and Billy, the doll's name, written on it. It also says the doll is from his own hometown. Fueled by grief and the need to know what the heck is going on, Jamie decides to head straight there. His hometown is a dump, a ghost town, really. Buildings are abandoned, and most of the residents are elderly. His dad and stepmom still live there, but he and his dad aren't close. His sick, wheelchair-bound father suddenly apologizes and says he wants to be a better dad. He's even arranged a special funeral for Jamie's wife, telling him to contact old man Henry to handle the details. Jamie uses this moment to ask about Mary Shaw and the doll. His stepmom chimes in, saying the story is famous and the key is, never, ever scream if you see her. But then she dismisses it all as just an old wives' tale. Jamie goes to see Henry to arrange the funeral for the next day. That night, resting at the inn, he has a terrifying experience. Billy's eyes move on their own, and the doll suddenly appears next to him. A creepy old woman calls his name, only to disappear when he turns the light on. Billy is back where he started, leaving Jamie wondering if it was a nightmare or real. The next day, after the funeral, Jamie sees someone lurking in the distance. As he tries to follow, old woman Marion, Henry's wife, pops up, looking absolutely terrified. She keeps muttering Mary Shaw's name, insisting that Billy the doll needs to be buried immediately. Henry quickly drags her away before Jamie can get any more information. That's when Jamie realizes the gravestone right in front of him is Mary Shaw's tomb. His belief solidifies. Mary Shaw is real, and she killed his wife. Remembering what Marion said, Jamie searches around Mary Shaw's grave and discovers a bunch of doll graves, her private collection. One of them is for Billy. When he digs it up, the coffin is empty, proving the doll he received came from right here. As he gets the major creeps and races away, Billy, who Jamie had somehow brought back, appears right in front of his car before vanishing again. Back at the inn, Jamie is shocked to find Billy the doll has reappeared. Turns out the police followed him and dug up the doll he buried, thinking he was trying to hide evidence. Even though Jamie tries to connect his wife's death to Mary Shaw, the cops don't buy it and are determined to find proof to lock him up.
Enough lately.
Jamie takes Billy to old man Henry's house. Henry is shocked to see the doll and finally tells Jamie the story from 70 years ago. Mary Shaw was a famous ventriloquist at the local theater. One day, a little boy named Michael yelled during a show, accusing her of being a fake because her lips were moving. Mary Shaw got furious, and a few weeks later, Michael vanished. Not long after, Mary Shaw herself was mysteriously murdered. Henry's family handled the burial and knew about Mary Shaw's strange will. She wanted to be taxidermied like a dummy and buried with her 101 doll collection. Since her burial, the town has been cursed. Many residents died the same way Jamie's wife did. Their mouths split open like a doll's, and their tongues were missing. Henry re-emphasizes the rule. Anyone who screams when they see Mary Shaw's ghost will have their tongue ripped out, and they will die. Curiosity pushes Jamie to the old, abandoned Mary Shaw Theatre. There, he finds a book on doll making with a tucked-in newspaper clipping about Michael's disappearance. Jamie realizes Michael was a relative of his. Meanwhile, Marion is seen talking to the Billy doll, asking why Mary Shaw's terror hasn't ended. Henry plans to bury the doll again, but when he goes to grab a shovel, he hears his wife's voice from the shed. He doesn't notice Billy moving and locking the shed door. Inside, Henry realizes it's a sound trap, Mary Shaw's ghost mimicking his wife's voice. Despite knowing the rule, Henry screams when the ghost appears in front of him, and he becomes the next victim, losing his tongue. Jamie returns to his father's house and asks about the events from 70 years ago. His dad confirms that Michael was their relative. Jamie's family and some other townspeople suspected Mary Shaw had kidnapped Michael. With no proof, they murdered Mary Shaw and even cut out her tongue. This is the root of Mary Shaw's revenge. She's punishing the family that killed her, and now her target is all of Jamie's descendants. Jamie is horrified, realizing his wife was a victim because she was pregnant with his child. The police suddenly show up to arrest Jamie. They dug up all of Mary Shaw's doll graves and found them empty, convinced Jamie is making the whole thing up. Jamie manages to escape and heads back to the Mary Shaw Theatre, the cop right behind him. They enter a room full of doll paraphernalia and find the 100 dolls from Mary Shaw's collection that were supposed to be buried. The most horrifying discovery is Michael, the boy who disappeared 70 years ago, who Mary Shaw had turned into a doll. All the dolls turn and look in one direction. At the end of the room is a clown dummy that Mary Shaw has possessed. Jamie asks why she took Michael. The ghost replies that Michael's ridicule made her obsessed with creating the perfect doll out of a real human being. After they murdered her, her vengeance grew stronger, and her main target is the entire bloodline of Jamie's family. The cop shoots the clown doll. Immediately, the dolls in the cabinet start getting possessed one by one. Mary Shaw can terrorize people through any of her collection. The two men smash the dolls, and Jamie even sets them on fire. As they run to escape, the bridge they cross collapses. The cop screams on reflex and is instantly killed by Mary Shaw, his tongue gone. Jamie, despite the shock, manages to hold back his scream and gets away. The shocking plot twist in the end of the vendetta. Jamie remembers there's one doll left, Billy. He rushes back to Henry's house to find Henry dead. Marion tells him that Jamie's father took the Billy doll. Jamie is confused. How could his frail, wheelchair-bound dad have done that? Jamie races back to his father's house. He finds Billy and quickly sets it on fire. But before it's completely destroyed, he uncovers the most gruesome truth. His father has been dead all along. His father was being manipulated like a dummy by his stepmom. And in a massive plot twist, his stepmom is actually Mary Shaw's perfect, human-like doll, her final collection piece that no one ever noticed. Too shocked and feeling that all his effort was for nothing, Jamie finally screams. He becomes the final victim, his tongue ripped out by Mary Shaw. The movie ends with the chilling realization that Mary Shaw's 70-year-long vendetta has been fulfilled. Jamie's bloodline is completely wiped out. Mary Shaw, the evil spirit, successfully won the fight against the family that murdered her.